What is up, everyone? Circon is here, bringing you guys another video about the 1.2 patch. So a lot of the preferential matchmaking tanks got buffed, or a lot of them, about 8 or so. One of them being the T-34-3, which is a Chinese tier 8 medium tank that people never buy, because there's also a Type 59, and if you already have that, it's pretty much better. And the Type 59 also got buffed. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at what the T-43 buffs actually entail. And comparing it to the old way, you can see that the penetration went up from 175 to 186. Dispersion went down from 44 to 42. And it got a little bit better dispersion values whilst on the move and whilst turning the tank. And this is also a pretty big one. It went from 5 degrees gun depression to 6.5. Now that's a fairly big deal, because it makes it a lot more comfortable to play. But also, if you are using your full gun depression and you're not showing your hull yet, you have better armor now because there's just better angles and you're not showing your weaker turret roof and weak spots, right? So if you're using your full gun depression now compared to the 5 degrees, you're actually a lot better off, which in turn makes the armor a little bit better. Now the hull is still at 100 and the angle would be decent, but it really feels like cheese. Like, this hull feels like absolute cheese. And it's the same problem with the WZ 120 at tier 9, is that these tanks have such inaccurate guns. And I'll show you guys a replay, of course, as well. But these tanks work at short distances. Right, you cannot be sniping with 44 dispersion and 2.9 aiming time. And the Type 59 got buffed, and this thing has like 0.37 dispersion, which isn't great, but a lot better, and less than 2 seconds aiming time. So, and the Type 59 is also faster, there's better power to weight. It's pretty crazy, and it even has better gun depression at 7. And the Type 59 got buffed again. So, there's not a lot of buffs for the T-44-3, but you know what? Let's just jump into the replay, shall we? So we can check it out how it actually performs in the game, and then I'll talk about it some more afterwards. So we're here on Prokhorovka. It is 510 matchmaking, and as I've said in the previous review videos of the limited matchmaking tanks, in the current matchmaking in October 2018, this is your matchmaking almost every time, even if you have limited matchmaking. You're gonna be facing 5 tier 9s almost every time, and a lot of those are gonna be super heavies, Japanese heavies, Fika Beast and all that. So your 186 pen is still really not high enough, basically. It would be high enough if you were facing tier 6 and 7s, but in reality you're really not. So the loadout is 20 AP, 15 heat and 5 HE. The HE is kind of nice, 61 pen with 530 damage is nice for taking out artillery in one shots, so you don't need to rely on a high roll AP shot if you're shooting at a tier 9 artillery piece. I'm also running food on it and a larger packet, as we now see a batch at 12T, and I'm like, oh, is he coming down or not? Is he doing a scouting run? I thought he was gonna go right. I guess not. He just goes down the hill, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is a free scout for us all. I do appreciate that. So, super wonky here, trying to outweigh, maybe not. Managed to track him, and then got the 12T. I mean, that's one way to start a game, I guess. And killing a scout on Prokhorovka this early is, you know, very, very nice. So, looking at the map, I don't have a lot of support, but I do have an S1 and a Scorpion, which is fairly accurate and high pen, so I'm like, you know what, I'll just check the hill anyway, keep an eye on the middle. The 1-2 line is already looking like a absolute cloud fiesta, but at least they have a T-49 scouting for them, so hopefully they don't die so quickly. Here's the S1, and he just had an extreme angle or so. We do have a 122mm gun, so all the Swedish CTs will get overmatched by this gun, which is at least one benefit of having this gun over the Type 59. No, I think the Type 59 is like 100 mil, so you can still overmatch the S1, but yeah, regardless. So here we do just the old Prokhorovka trick, basically, trying to spot them and not get counter-spotted. We do have one artillery, so hopefully we get some spotting in. But yeah, just, if you want to have a good laugh, just take a look at the one line. It's like an IS-6 and ISM. It's amazing. And now the T-49 dies as well, so they don't have any scouting anymore. Then in the middle of the map, we have an Alpine tank and an E-75, which is just box standard, right? The E-75 is probably going to get RT'd the entire game. Like, especially if he's Unicum or something, because, you know. But, you know, early game Prokhorovka, it usually kind of goes like this. I also have a super Pershing buddy here. And the Betcha 12T is now at like B6 and going back to the 1-2 line. So now we pick up the Pantera. I think he just fired this gun or something. And we low roll like no tomorrow. We roll 297 with a 390 alpha average. I think that's almost the lowest roll you can get. So yeah, that was interesting. I actually asked my chat, like, how much did I roll? Was that really 300? I was like, okay, nice. So T-30, one of the nicer targets to shoot at, as long as you have the hull, and we do actually manage to hit it. And here you'll notice another downside of this tank: the extremely slow AP shot. And they actually increased the heat shot velocity to be, I think, the same as the AP, but it's like 780 meters a second or something. It's extremely slow. You almost saw an arc there, but when I was shooting the T-30, you almost see like an arc, as if you're firing like a high explosive derp shot, which is pretty annoying, to be honest. But yeah, as the game goes by, oh, maybe S1 again. Ooh, no, he was already blown up. Super Pershing gets all the spotting, of course. But I think he's gonna get annihilated by the IS-6 and the T-30 in the middle. So I'm just playing a little bit more conservatively, and I know we have 6.5 gun depression now, so I'm like, oh, maybe I can shoot the Super Pershing. The IS-6 shows up now. IS-6 is a really annoying target for these kinds of penning shots. We have like a yellow pen marker. We get a high pen roll. And we actually do manage to pen it, but like, again, 186 with such a derp gun is just not good enough, because you also lack the armor. Like, the IS-6 has a similar gun, but it feels less bad than the IS-6 because you're usually engaging a lot shorter distances, and what we're doing now is like really not favorable for the gun. But the T-30 is just giving us side shots. We set him on fire as well, and we rolled 297 earlier. We rolled 466 now, so RNG bless that shot at least. And there's all kinds of things going on here. Like, the standard B dies, the Super Pershing is now in the ditch. This Super Pershing, I'm like, alright, where the hell am I gonna shoot this guy? Like, there's no way. So I try to go for a tracking shot. Take a look. Where the hell can I hit this guy? Lower plate, maybe? Nope. Tracking, there we go. He actually gave us the side, so we tracked him and did damage. Whilst I was just looking for basically a tracking shot at that point. And now the IS-6 snipes us. It low rolls a little bit. It's probably not worth it. And here I'm like, alright, I guess I'll try and keep the Super Pershing spotted. He makes some really weird moves, and I'm again waiting for a side shot. And you see the arc of the shot there. It is so slow, it's actually ridiculous. So you should take this replay also with kind of like almost like a grain of salt, because we get pretty lucky with the shots whilst they are fully aimed, but we're also running food, we're running Brothers at Arms. It is pretty crazy that this gun is still performing like this, basically. And an E75 is also a horrible target for us, because I don't even think with heat we can reliably pen the lower plate. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can get a shot in. Scorpion is like, you know what, let me bump into you whilst I'm reloading, so I can't do anything. So yeah, the E75 is just playing in a puddle there. The standard B shows up. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll have a side shot there, because the standard B is actually coming up quite significantly on that hill, so we can maybe have a side shot there. I'm like, well, and here I'm thinking maybe we should like spot the hill again before we get rushed down by those two people. Because there's still there's Samoa, and he's already super close, and there's the Raffaele. And we managed to take him out, because obviously he has like tier 5 armor, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then the E75 shows up. I make I do this a lot, by the way. When you try and pull away from the hill here, there's a bump right here, and you're always like, oh, I'm gonna be safe now. And then you go over the bump and you still get shot. This happens to me all the time. Oh well. So E75 is stuck because he only hits it for 417, so we know he has the stock gun at least, so we can survive one more shot. Because we have that 506. So we could survive a shot. And now the standard B is still peeking there, and I totally missed the I6, I think. So here I'm just trying to spot the E75, you know, without getting shot back. So we're only peeking basically with the turret few ports. And I also don't want to get shot, but the standard B is on full health, and he could just like two-shot us with the auto reloader. So here again, trying to spawn him. Requesting fire on him, like maybe artillery can wake up or something, the ISM maybe. So I'm just trying to find a way to maybe screw over the E75, either by tracking him or something, just keeping him spotted, basically. So again here, you know, the gun depression does make a difference, and it does make the tank a lot more playable. But I just don't think... I think this tank needs a little bit of hull armor. And probably a slightly better gun, at least in the handling department, because it is pretty bad. And I think the changes were not good enough, especially when compared to Type 59, who got buffed again. It feels like this thing should be better armored and more suited for close combat than a Type 59 should be. And if you have a Type 59, there's literally no reason to pick this up. And there's gonna be so many games where this gun just feels like ass. Like, it really does. Like, these kinds of shots, that can be like your whole game can be shots like that. Because you're so inaccurate with so little pen that it's just like, I feel like it needs the M4 revolver pen of like 200 with AP. Or maybe even APCR with like or a fast AP. That would be nice. So you have so many things against you. But at least here, I managed to get the tracking shots because I'm obviously never going to pen the C75, but the Scorpion is behind him. So my main target here is staying hull down, bounce the shot, and keep him tracked, right? And now the C75 is like, oh my god, screw this Scorpion. So he's turning his turret, and I have a side shot on the turret, which is rather nice. And in a rare example of teamwork, we actually managed to kill one E75 between the two of us. And I get the assistance as well, so we have like 3600 damage, 2600 spotting, and there's only a 30 and an artillery piece left, so I'm just booking it towards the 1-2 line, where there's still pretty much a cloud fiesta going on, because they only just killed the Ferdinand. In about 10 minutes of gameplay, I don't think they've killed much in that 1-2 line, it doesn't feel like it anyway. But take a peek left, because, you know, artillery could be there. And then here I'm just feeling lucky because we're gonna be reloaded before you get spotted again, likely. So I'm gonna book it here to the left to have a bit of a like overview so you can look down on the enemy. So I'm just waiting and waiting because I6 will probably spot him. And if I get lucky, I might spot him, but he's gonna be spotted really, really soon here. So I slow down, get my aiming circle a bit a bit smaller. He gets spotted there. Hit him again with the high roll, and someone else finishes him off for the last like 12 HP. So, you know, that was rather nice. So, you know, you guys probably want to see the post-game stats as per usual. So let's take a quick look. So it was an ace. We got an Oshkin's medals for destroying at least 3 enemy tanks or tank destroyers with a medium tank in one battle that are 1 tier higher. So we killed 3 out of 5 tier 9s. Which, you know, not bad. We got 1651 base XP, 5 medals. We almost got the top gun. If we high rolled even further on the artillery, we would have actually had a top gun there. And we did shoot a bunch of heat, but with the 390 Alpha, we still made a significant amount of credits. Because even without the credit booster, we would have made almost 100,000 credits here. Now, with all that said, and with the review or with the replay that you guys have seen, would I recommend buying this thing and playing this? Absolutely not. Like, I don't think the buffs to it were nearly enough. The gun depression was a good start, but I really would rather see a fast AP shot, at least a fast AP shot. Like 800 is just not good enough, I think. And I would really like to see maybe like a 110 hull armor or something like that, just to make it a little bit different than the Type 59, because it's already slower than the Type 59, and it doesn't get anything back forward. You just get a worse gun basically. And my biggest gripe with guns like this is that because of the long reload, it makes missing shots that much more annoying. If you have a reload of like 7 seconds, missing a shot doesn't feel nearly as annoying as reloading for 11 seconds. And you saw how the gun behaved. And that's with me running food, and it's also with me running Brother Arms and like a really good crew, because believe it or not, the Chinese line was one of my first crews where I had like a 5 crew skill crew in it, and the 121 was actually my first tier 10 medium, or first tier 10 even. So yeah, I really cannot recommend this thing still after the buffs. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, maybe in the comment section below. Maybe you guys completely love it now. I still think... I still think it could use a little bit of love to make it actually better. But would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.